I want to apologize in advance. It is quite stormy and dark out right now, which is the perfect pathetic fallacy for what we are going to be talking about today, Georgia Tech. Also, if you're wondering what happened to my face, I do recommend you watch this video just for a little life update. So when I filmed this video, it was actually like less than a week than my follow-up lip filler appointment, so I was still very swollen. This video were a lot bigger and more swollen than they will be after full healing. Don't be giving me any kind of trash in the comments. Today I'm going to be talking about my experience at Georgia Tech. I feel like this is a little bit overdue. It really is, honestly, because I graduated in 2018. This video is intended for any newer college students, any incoming freshmen, especially those of you who are going to Georgia Tech. I just want to tell you guys a little bit about my experience at Tech, how I survived it, and honestly going over some of my biggest regrets and advice, just so maybe you guys won't make the same mistakes that I did. And I will be looking at my phone throughout this video. My apologies, because I did write notes so I don't forget too much. It was a long 4 years that flew by. Let's get into it. Just for background, I went to Tech from 2018 to 2020. Wait, what the hell? I don't even know when I went to college. No, I didn't. I went to Georgia Tech from 2014 to 2018. I graduated in like July 2018. I was a summer graduate. I graduated in almost 4 years. I went to college right out of high school. I was accepted. Early acceptance, January of 2014. I remember the day. It was a special day. I really was excited about it. It was my top choice for college and I was thrilled to be going there. I went to Tech for chemical engineering, or as Tech likes to call it, chemical and biomolecular engineering. For all intents and purposes, we can just call it chemical engineering. I will probably be calling it chemi. And just for you guys who aren't in the tech world, chemical engineering was considered one of the hardest majors at Tech, not to brag too much. And in case you're wondering, I picked chemi just because I loved chemistry and math in high school, and I slowly found out that chemi was a lot less chemistry based than I thought it would be, but that's besides the point. And just to fast forward a little bit for perspective, I did graduate from Tech with highest honors, or summa cum laude, as colleges call it. And my GPA was 3.59 at graduation, which maybe if you're from a different school might seem not that high. At Tech, their cum laude scale is a little bit curved because it is known to be a harder school. So to get a summa cum laude, I believe you have to have a 3.55 or higher, something like that. And I got a 3.59 for my final GPA. So I did get highest honors from Tech, which honestly I was so thrilled about. That's like one of my biggest accomplishments, because I am super school oriented. I love school, or I loved school, and it was always a priority to me and always a goal of mine to graduate with highest honors. So go me. And now we are going to rewind to the very beginning. I'm gonna go through my 1st through 4th year and what I learned. Let's start with my 1st year of college. I live just a little bit north of Tech, like 30 minutes north, half hour north of Midtown and Georgia Tech, where it's located. But I did live on campus all 4 years. I lived in a dorm freshman year, as I feel like everyone has to live in a dorm. I think it's mandatory. I found my roommate online just through Facebook. They had a Facebook page to find a roommate. I didn't know this girl before going into Tech, but I kind of got lucky. At least the 1st year we got along super well, and she became a really good friend of mine. So definitely be careful with the roommate process. Make sure you get to know the person pretty well. You are going to be spending a lot of time with them, most likely. So Tech is pretty hard school, and I feel like I was relatively well equipped for Tech because I studied constantly in high school. I am one of those people who have to try pretty hard in school. So I did study a lot in high school. I studied from the moment I walked in till the moment I went to bed. So I have the work ethic down for college. So there wasn't any kind of shocking revelation when I went to college. I wasn't like behind in anything because I already was studying as if I was in a college level when I was in high school. And my first semester was pretty easy. I mean, the classes I picked weren't too hard. So definitely I would recommend your first semester, go easier on the course load and don't overbook your credits. I think pretty consistently throughout college, I did 12 to 15 credits. I don't think I rarely, if ever, went over 15 credits. If you know yourself and you know you need to put in a decent bit of work to do well, don't kill yourself with too many credits. That's my first piece of advice. Also in high school, I got a 4.0. I was like 17th in my class. So yeah, I did really well in high school. Anyways, in college, I got my first B freshman year. In high school, I would never be able to get a B. I would never forgive myself, but at tech, you just need to lower your expectations just a little bit. I got a B. I don't remember what my first B was in. I got it second semester, maybe. I got my first B. And the thing I really want to talk about for my first year of college is the social aspect of college. I hung out with the smarter kids in high school. So literally 90% of my friend group from high school went to Georgia Tech with me. I wasn't one of those kids who went to college knowing no one. I probably knew more people than I should have. There was like 8 of us in my friend group that went to college together. I wasn't worried about that going into college, but honestly, I think that kind of bit me in the ass. I almost wish that I didn't have so many friends going into college because I did not branch out nearly as much as I should have. So one of my biggest regrets in college is, one, I didn't become friends with the girls on my dorm floor. I literally was so scared of social interaction. I just stuck to myself, stayed in my dorm room and studied constantly and talked to nobody. I think a lot of people form really good relationships their first year of college with their dorm floor roommates, dorm floor people. So I recommend socializing with your dorm floor, be in the kitchen with them, be hanging out with them because you can make some good friends that way. I did not. My second thing is I hate myself for coming into college with a boyfriend, and not just any boyfriend, but a boyfriend that I didn't see a long-term future with. It's one thing if you're dating someone from high school and you see yourself going long-term. Like my parents met when they were 15 in high school and they dated all through college, obviously, and they got married afterwards. Nothing wrong with dating someone from high school to college if you see a future with them, but in my case, I did not. This was a guy who was my friend in high school. We were really good friends, and I had just gotten out of a relationship with my high school boyfriend, and I don't want to say I rebounded, but I kind of rebounded. So I dated this guy who was my friend, and we started dating like right before college started, which was so stupid. Like, why? My freshman boyfriend also, he went to high school with me, and then he was also going to Georgia Tech with me. So literally my entire freshman year, I was just hanging out with my new boyfriend who had just started dating a month before high school, and I knew for a fact we were not going to be dating long term. So like, why was I wasting my time? I basically wasted my freshman year. I didn't make any new friends. I just hung out with my boyfriend basically every day, and I knew in the back of my head it wasn't going to go anywhere. So I really wish I would have just accepted loneliness for a little bit and not have jumped into a relationship right before college. That is like one of my biggest regrets as far as college goes. So definitely don't be in a relationship just because you don't want to be alone. You'll meet plenty of friends and plenty of new contenders going into college, so you don't need to worry about that, especially if you're going to tech, okay? There's a lot of guys there and not as many girls, so don't worry about it, you'll be fine. I didn't drink really my first year of college. I don't know if this is bad to talk about. I'm not saying you should underage drink, but I went into college saying I'm not gonna drink, so I think first semester I didn't drink at all. So I actually rushed for a sorority freshman year. I went through the whole entire process, and then I dropped the day before bid day because I was really stressed out. I had this conception about sororities that I wasn't gonna get along with the girls. I wasn't gonna have a fun time if I didn't drink. I dropped the whole process a day before bid day, never got a bid because I was just too uncomfortable with the idea of being in a party-like scene. So I didn't join a sorority freshman year. Can't say if I regret or don't regret it. I honestly think I would have been fine not joining a sorority. I would have been able to make friends just fine from hanging out with people in classes and my floors if I wasn't held back by a boyfriend. So I don't think being in a sorority is really necessary at tech. I've heard a lot of times that it is, which is why I rushed. But I think if you're social with other people, like on your floor and your classes, you'll be fine making friends at tech. Yeah, that's kind of my whole freshman year condensed a little bit. I did well in school. I studied constantly, basically had no fun, and my biggest regrets would definitely be coming in with a boyfriend that I didn't see long term, not socializing with the girls on my floor, and then not really branching out from my high school friend group. Not to say being friends with your high school friend group all through college is a good thing, but it's like they all joined sororities and frats and found their people, whereas I was left freshman year not in a sorority with a boyfriend I wasn't crazy about, and I wasn't making more friends. It's like all my previous friends left me and I didn't make new ones. Great. So that was my freshman year. Summer before second year of college, me and my boyfriend broke up. So this was my first time being single since I was like 10. I've had boyfriends like my whole life. And this year I wasn't scared so much at the idea of alcohol, and I was feeling more comfortable in myself, more social. And me and my roommate were really good friends. We were hanging out during the summer, having a good time. And I was just more social than I was freshman year. I think really getting out of the relationship let me spread my wings a little bit. So I actually decided to rush a second time. Yes, I rushed for a sorority a second time. Oh my God. The process is not great. The first time was sucked because I was super awkward. The second time wasn't that bad, honestly, because I was a lot more social and I felt more confident. So it was actually kind of fun the second time around. I enjoyed talking to the girls I was talking to. I joined a sorority sophomore year, which wasn't super normal, but wasn't abnormal. There were a few other girls my age. Most people at Tech rush freshman year, but I joined Alpha Xi Delta. It's like the oldest sorority at Georgia Tech. I loved my pledge class. I got along really well with this core group of girls, and I had plans finally. Every Friday I was hanging out with these girls for my pledge class, and I got along super well with them. It was a great time. I went out maybe once a week-ish to frat parties and all the basic college stuff. I still was obviously studying constantly. Nothing changed in that aspect. I was studying constantly still from dusk till dawn and doing relatively well in my classes. Also, second year I was living in an apartment building, kind of. It was like student apartment housing. I was living in the North Ave buildings in Tech. They were used for the Olympics in '96. They're pretty old and kind of gross, but I lived in those. I lived with my roommate from freshman year, as well as one of my best friends, Katie, who I'm still friends with to this day. I roomed with her, and then my previous roommate and another girl from my high school. So there was 4 of us sharing an apartment. So I had a lot of fun socially in the first semester. And then it's I don't know, I just have a habit of this. I got into another relationship sophomore year. I met this guy in organic chemistry. I didn't know him before college. He was a new person. Never met him before. Go me, I met someone outside of high school. We started dating in October of sophomore year. And at that point I noticed I wasn't really going to the sorority events anymore. I wasn't hanging out with the girls on Fridays that much. I think I literally went to 1 mixer with a sorority and 1 date night. It was kind of a waste of money, to be honest. At this point, once I got a boyfriend, I wasn't hanging out with anyone. I wish I didn't rely so heavily on my boyfriend like I did freshman year and just abandoned the new friendships I had formed. Also, another notable thing about sophomore year is I experienced my first failure, my first time failing a test. It was I forget the numbers for it, but it was with the intro chemie class. It was so tragic to me. I had never failed a test before. It was really earth-shattering to me, honestly, guys. Really what I learned from that failure is the world keeps spinning. Everything will be fine. If anything Tech taught me, it's resilience. You will be fine. Just because you do bad on one test doesn't mean you're gonna do bad in the class, and doesn't mean you're gonna die. Doesn't mean the world's gonna end. And honestly, at the end of the day, I tried my hardest, and if I tried my hardest, there's nothing else I can do. I passed the class, continued on with my major second semester and throughout college. Don't let one failure deter you. I could have easily switched majors, but I just wanted to stick it out. I was like, you know what? I already took the first class. I'm too far in. You don't want to let one bad grade get you off your entire path and journey in life. That's kind of sophomore year in a little nutshell. I got a new boyfriend. I was doing really well at the beginning of the year, making new friends, having fun on the weekends. The thing I learned though is that you are not defined by your grades. Just try your hardest. That's all you can do. And then you can be confident in yourself that you did everything you could. At the end of sophomore year, I actually dropped my sorority. I was literally in it 1 year. And at this point I was still dating my boyfriend, and it just wasn't worth the money. It was so expensive. My parents, thankfully, God bless them, they paid for my sorority and most of all of my college. I got loans as well that I paid off after college, but my parents paid for my college. I didn't have to worry about expenses in college. I didn't have to get a job. Love my parents, they paid for that, but I know it was expensive. I literally was in the sorority just for the t-shirts at this point. I love the t-shirts. I still have some of them, which should I? Probably not. So it definitely was time to drop. I dropped at the end of the year. 1 year done and dusted. I experienced it. It wasn't for me. I didn't have any falling outs with any girls from my sorority. I kind of distanced myself. So that's the end of my sophomore year. Then junior year, I was still dating the same guy, went into college without a sorority, but I made some friends from the sorority I was still talking to occasionally. I made a lot of new guy friends at the frat who I got along with really well. I was invited to parties and stuff, so I still went to those, still socialized. Going into junior year, I didn't socialize as much as when I was single, but I socialized a little bit, still hung out with people, had a little bit of fun, but I was still studying constantly. That never changed ever from the time I got out of classes till I went to bed, and from the weekends from like 9 a.m. to when I went to bed, I was studying. I was very intrinsically motivated. I wanted to do well in college. For me, I wanted to be proud of myself, to feel accomplished, and to know that I tried my hardest. And I did just that. I have never felt more proud of myself than I did in college because it's a hard major and I was still getting good grades. I was very proud of myself, and that's why I tried so hard in college. So I say I regret it, but at the same time, it's like, do I? Because I wouldn't have had that self-fulfillment if I didn't try so hard. So I take it back. I don't regret trying so hard. I do wish that I took breaks more often. Like, I wish I hung out with my friends on the weekends more. And there's like 2 things I can remember in specific. One, I didn't go on my boyfriend's formal trip junior year because I had to study for a test the next week. And then another thing is I didn't go to my best friend's birthday party, my best friend being Matt, my current boyfriend, because I had to study for something. I wish I would have at least given, you know, like for instance, Matt's party, I could have gone an hour. Could I really not have wasted that 1 hour? At some point, your brain is so full that you can't get anything else in there. Honestly, I got good grades and I was very proud of myself, but outside of college, no one asks about your GPA. Do the best that you can, try your hardest, but don't put so much stock in it because outside of college, your GPA is not gonna matter that much. Don't push yourself so hard that you're miserable in college. Just try your hardest, but grades are not everything. And I wish I realized that sooner. I wouldn't change it at the same time because it got me to where I am now. I love my job and I felt very fulfilled with how I was doing in college. Also, junior year, I think second semester or first semester, I joined a chemistry fraternity. So I joined Alpha Chi Sigma and I met a lot of like-minded people. I loved Axe. Me and my ex-boyfriend and actually Matt, my current boyfriend who was my friend at the time, all joined it together, as well as Meher, who was like my best friend from high school who carried on all through college up until now. We all joined together, the 4 of us, and we made really good friends. I got along well with these people. We didn't have like a house or anything, but we had a chapter every week, stuff like that, and some bonding time, and I loved that chemistry fraternity. So if that says anything, don't feel pressured to join a sorority or fraternity in college just because you feel like it's what you should do to fit in. Join clubs and organizations and do activities that make you happy with like-minded people that you get along with. That is one of the things I'm proud that I did junior year. I joined this chem frat, I made new friends, and I had a lot of fun with them. I still talk to some of them today. I met like one of my best girlfriends in college through that chemistry frat, and I am just very happy I got outside my comfort zone. And then junior year, second semester, I was the t-shirt chair for the frat, so I made the t-shirts. I did really good t-shirts. I did comfort colors and they had good designs. They were super fratty for a chem frat and I loved that. That's kind of my junior year summed up. My biggest regrets were taking school to the extreme where I was missing out on family events and I was missing out on friend events that I couldn't get back. And then my wins of junior year were joining Axe, the chem frat, getting out of my comfort zone, making some new friends, still doing well in school. I can't believe I forgot to mention that junior year, my boyfriend actually broke up with me and I was heartbroken. It was like the worst thing to ever happen to me at that time in my life. And I still got a 4.0 that semester. It was the trifecta for chemie. It's like supposed to be the hardest semester of school. So it's thermo, or it's numerical methods 2, kinetics, and separations. You take all 3 of those chemistry classes at once, and I got a freaking 4.0, all A's that semester after my boyfriend dumped me right before finals. So that is like one of the best, or like the most proudest moments, is that I could get a 4.0 and study my ass off when I was simultaneously so heartbroken over this. Just a side note, I can't believe I forgot to mention, there's another win of junior year. Also, I forgot to mention that junior year I stayed off campus at University House. It's like right off of Tech Square, if you're familiar. It's basically student housing, but it's not. Anyone can technically live there, but most students, it's mostly students, or all students, honestly. So it's a super nice apartment. I loved it. I loved my apartment. It was like a high rise. I had a nice view of the city. It wasn't old and disgusting like North Ave. And I lived with Katie, my best friend, who I lived the year before. And we always lived in 3 bedrooms with a 3rd random person. It was always me and Katie and then a random person. But I loved my apartment. I was very happy about that. And then I actually stayed there over the summer in my apartment, and I lived there again senior year. Over the apartment, I think I worked in like the HR department at Tech. I was like a talent acquisition assistant over the summer just to make a few dollars. And then I actually started dating my current boyfriend, Matt, during the summer between junior year and senior year. Honestly, we need a whole different video about how me and Matt started dating. And between junior year and senior year, I stayed on campus. It's really nice staying on campus over the summer. I wasn't taking any classes, so basically I could just do whatever I wanted when I wasn't in work 20 hours a week. I think I worked part-time. I was just at the pool all the time. We went out a little bit. You know, you're in Midtown, you're still around the vicinity of bars and stuff. And I was legal. We were all legal and 21. We could go out occasionally. Still not much. Still wasn't much of a drinker at this point. And then senior year was honestly the chillest year for me, which I feel like might be true for a lot of you guys because you're almost halfway out the door. But like I still tried really hard constantly, but it was definitely the chillest. I was the least stressed about grades my senior year. Well, I was still taking a full course load, but I had a lot of fun with Matt. We hung out every weekend, obviously, did fun things around Atlanta. I still took school very seriously, but I made more time for myself senior year. So that is something I'm proud of. I finally started to put it 2 and 2 together. My biggest regret of senior year and the other years as well is not getting closer to my professors. I wish I took more time to get to know my professors on a personal level, or did something like research to really get to know specific professors, because those are the people who are gonna write you recommendations. Those are the people who are kind of gonna be mentors to you. Those are the people who will help you in your classes. So I do wish I got closer with my professors than I did. I was super close with my teachers in high school. Like I still talk to one of them to this day, but for some reason I was almost scared of my professors. A lot of professors at Tech are very much so research heavy. They care a lot more about research than they do about their students, but there's some of them who will actually care and want to get to know you. So find those professors, get to know them on a personal level, and I think you will be very happy for it. So I'm kind of gonna wrap up the senior year here. I graduated in July. I took my last class over the summer. I took just 1 class after senior year. It was unit operations lab, and me, Matt, and Zach, one of my best friends I made in college, who actually went to my high school but I didn't know him in high school, we're all in a lab together. So it was really fun working together. It wasn't like stressful. We all got along great. We did labs together and it was honestly kind of fun. And then I think I walked in May of 2018, but I didn't officially graduate until July of 2018. So now I'm just gonna give some general advice and general things I learned in summary. One thing I wanna talk about is how I survived Tech and think I did well personally is, 1, you just need to prioritize your schoolwork. You need to do things in advance. You know, as I was editing this video, I realized I have a very jaded perception of my time at Tech, as pointed out by my mom. What? She said she was promoted to being great. Oh, that's good. That's how mine works. I'm gonna fail. I'm gonna fail. I can't do this. I'm gonna be a failure. What am I gonna do? Why am I here? You lost it. I lost it. Every time. Crying, hysterical. Oh my god. I can't believe you don't remember. Like, how do you not remember her? It was traumatic for both of us. You don't remember? No. Oh my god, Sydney. The phone would ring, I'd see your picture and I'd start to get chest pain. What? Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, oh my god. I'd have to answer all calm, hey honey. Inside I was like in a little panic mode, like, oh my God, what's gonna be on the other end? Stop. Not. It was not fun for you. I don't understand. I remember it being fun. It wasn't fun for you at all. I'm just looking at it through rose-colored glasses. Don't get me wrong, I loved it, but before I go into all this other advice, two of the things that really helped me get through tech were, one, being able to calm my anxiety with some antidepressants. I have videos about this if you are interested. And I also brought Toby to school with me junior and senior year through getting him as an emotional support animal. So just a pro tip, tech, if you're like on campus or in like student housing, technically, they won't let you bring animals, but I got a doctor's note that said I used Toby as an emotional support animal. So I got to have Toby on campus with me, and that was just a huge relief for me, and I loved it. But yeah, about medication, I mean, I'm not saying everybody needs medicine, but if you think you have anxiety outside of normal test anxiety, things like that, definitely pursue things to help you feel better mentally, whether it's medication or therapy or whatever. I've been looking at tech through rose-colored glasses. Those are two things that I just need to mention. Also, my dog's barking. Also, as evident from the conversation I had from my mom, the third thing I forgot to mention is I called my mom daily for emotional support to get me through. You know, thanks mom and dad. You really helped me survive tech. I always started my homework way ahead of time. So like the first day it's assigned, I'm already starting on it, even if it's due 4 days from then. Then I have the next 4 days to reflect back on my homework, to go to TAs or go to my friends, try to figure out what problems I'm not figuring out. And I'm not rushing the day before. So it gives me time to really think about what I don't understand and understand it and complete my homework correctly. Another thing is tests. Study way ahead of time. I studied right after class was over. I went home, I like reread the chapter, I went over, reviewed what we learned in class. I made sure I was really understanding the concepts, just though I wasn't studying the week before or the day before the test and realizing I really understood nothing. If you do things in advance, you can really break things up into small bite-sized pieces, so it's a lot more digestible than trying to cram everything into your head the day before a test. Another thing is you want to use your resources. So freshman year and maybe even sophomore year, I was at the Calc constantly going to the tutoring session. So they have, or at least they did, 7 years ago when I was in college. I'm so old. They had basically like tutoring sessions you could attend for free for your classes. You picked out the class that you were needing help on, and then you picked the time you wanted to go, and you could get help from a tutor, and you could just go over whatever homework questions you wanted, any kind of generic questions. And I went to that weekly, if not multiple times a week, freshman and sophomore year. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of your TAs, go to their office hours, ask them questions, and just take advantage of the resources that you have. Another resource I really appreciated was the CS or computer science help desk. I was there every freaking day. Funny enough, Matt, my current boyfriend, was there all the time freshman year as well. So we like kind of briefly spoke freshman year when we were all at the help desk together. But they have a help desk for computer science, or CS 1371, I think it's called. It's MATLAB programming, and they will help you with your homework problems. The homework problems for CS were so hard and so involved. So start those early. Go to the help desk starting on Monday. A lot of people waited till Thursday when they were due. Not a good idea. It's going to be so packed to the brim. You want to start early when the crowd isn't as heavy so you can really get that dedicated attention. In summary, take advantage of your resources. And outside of the resources that tech has, form study groups. Get to know the people in your class. Really rely on your peers, because there's a lot of freaking smart people at tech or any college, and they are probably more than willing to help you. So I had a really core group of people I studied with, namely Matt and Zach, who I love. He's now getting his PhD in chemical engineering from Berkeley because he's super smart. And then Meher as well, who is my friend from high school who carried through college and now into after college. When I look back on college, the things I miss most are studying in the Calc with them, which is in the Calc, it's like the basic student center. It's where a lot of classes were held. It's this big glass building. There was places for like communal studying, but I miss studying in the Calc. Hello?
Hi.
I'm talking about how I miss the Calc right now for my video. What are your comments?
I disagree.
Do you not miss it?
I don't miss studying.
What do you miss?
I mean, it's like hanging out with my friends there, I guess, but I would much rather not hang out with my friends and not study than study and hang out with
Okay. Okay, well, I gotta finish this. Love you.
my friends.
Bye. Matt didn't like studying as much as me, but those are like the best times. We were there till like late at night, and it was a lot of studying, but it was a lot of just like having fun together and talking trash. And there were days I was like rolling on the floor, not even kidding, because I was laughing so hard. I was a weirdo. And I miss the Kulk so much. You do not need to go through college in a vacuum. You will learn so much more by studying with other people and working with other people. I, before college, thought that I was a person who just wanted to study alone and never talk to anyone else. But then I got to tech and realized I couldn't do it by myself. And I realized that it's so much more efficient and you learn so much more from working in study group. That's my recommendation. I had some of the best times of my college career studying in the Kulk. It just says something about me as a person. Other things I recommend for getting out of tech: Quizlet. I loved Quizlet. Lots of my classes weren't memorization based, but like history of chairs, I used Quizlets. Tech. Side note, we didn't have fun electives like some schools have, like basket weaving and stuff. No, the fun elective I chose was history of chairs. But I used Quizlet for things that required memorization, loved it. And honestly, just do things in advance is my biggest recommendation, and use your resources. Overall, I just want to recap what I learned from Georgia Tech. I learned that you are a lot stronger and smarter than you think you are, and a lot more resilient. You will be just fine if you don't get a 4.0. The world will turn, and you can honestly succeed at anything you put your mind to. If you just put in the effort for it, if you prioritize, if you plan ahead, you can be successful at it. Tech were some of the best days of my life. Was it though?
You lost it.
I lost it.
Every time. Crying, hysterical.
I was very proud of myself at tech. Even though it seems like torture when you're there, enjoy it while you're there. I can honestly say I miss tech. I do not regret for 1 second going to tech, and I am so happy with my decision to go there. It was a hard school, but I would not trade anything for it. You just need to be aware of what you're getting into. I don't want this video to scare anyone away or anything like that. Enjoy it while you're there, because while you're there, you might be thinking like, wow, this is the worst. I can't wait to get out.
You lost it.
And then the second you do, you're gonna miss it. I loved the tech bubble. It was just so nice. It's so weird. You're like in a concrete jungle, but not even. You're like in a real jungle. Tech bubble, there's just so much green scenery. It's such a pretty campus. You wouldn't think it is because it's in Midtown, but I just loved going to classes and walking from class to class and being like amongst the skyscrapers. I really loved being in the city, and you're so close to Midtown and a bunch of activities. So it was really just a great location, but then you also have the nice scenery on campus, and like Piedmont Park is right nearby. I haven't mentioned this before. Another thing I learned from college is your major doesn't really matter that much. I was a chemical engineer, or I am a chemical engineer in degree, but I'm working in the electrical engineering field. So I'm not working at all with what I learned in college. Just don't put so much stock into your major. If you're not crazy about every single class you have, like, you don't need to go and change majors. Majority of people, I feel like, are not working in the field that they thought they would be working in. So don't stress over it. It shows your future employer that you are capable. And that's all they want to know, is that you are going to be able to succeed. But I'm very glad I chose the major I did. I wasn't crazy about chemical engineering, which is why I went more into sales and why I'm not in the chemi field, but I'm glad I did it. It didn't matter to my employer if I was a chemi versus a mechanical engineer versus a IE, whatever. The engineering degree is all that mattered. I can't believe I have not brought this up during this video, but yeah, I really wasn't crazy about my major. So much so that I looked at becoming a vet. I shadowed my vet that all my dogs go to, but then I saw a cat or a kitten getting spayed and I felt like I was gonna pass out. No, that's not for me. I shadowed my aunt who's a pharmacist. I went to the hospital with her, and then I was like, nope, too much patient interaction, and hospitals, don't like those. And then I even went to lunch with a patent attorney, and I took the LSAT 2 times. I was planning on going to law school. I literally took the LSAT the summer after I graduated college, but then I got my job offer and I figured, let's at least see if I like working and like my job before dropping some fat coin on law school, and I haven't looked back since. So all of that to say, I got a job, nothing to do with my major, and everything worked out fine for me. Even if you want to go to get higher education, engineering sets you up well. So There you go. You will end up at the job you're supposed to be at. No one really cares that much what your major was in, or if you have a 3.55 versus a 3.62. Okay, so honestly, overall guys, I love tech and I miss it. And if you go to tech, if you go to whatever college you go to and you think it's too hard or you think it's just a pain in the butt, enjoy it while you have it, because it's the only 4 years that you're going to get in this little bubble. You're going to leave one day, you're going to be in the real world, you're going to have responsibilities of going to a job every day. I know a lot of people aren't as fortunate as me. A lot of people had to work through college, but nonetheless, it's a unique experience you're not gonna get back. So enjoy the years that you're in college, whether it's 4, 5, or 6 or more. And it is a balancing act. You know, each person's different with how they want to balance their time, but all you can do is your best. So my advice is just try your best in college and enjoy it while you can, because I really do miss it. I don't have too many regrets about college. Maybe it seems like I do. I don't know. Yeah, that's really all I have to say. I'm sure actually I could say a lot more. If you guys want to know more about a specific topic in general, let me know below and I can make a video talking more about this. I just wanted to make like one overall video giving you my college experience in a nutshell. I could literally talk for years about each individual aspect of it, but if you have more questions about Georgia Tech in specific, college, anything I mentioned, just let me know and I'll talk about it more. That was the video. I hope you guys liked it. I upload videos every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you know where to find me. And thank you guys for watching this. If you're an incoming freshman, enjoy it, try to make the most of it, and don't be too hard on yourself. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you like what you see. It means the world to me. And thank you guys so much for watching. I think this was a long one, so if you made it this far, thank you very much. You are a real one. I will see you guys next week. Peace out. Bye, haters. Peace.